Alright. Dogs versus O. O expanding very well. Dogs opting for more aggressive strategy, but O ends up quite ahead. Alright. Dog's doing pretty good now, though, in his expansion. Catching up. It's a circle. Interestingly, neither player is moving off the generals yet. Almost looks like the Darth vs. Sprigate game. Dog's doing it, but a little later. Is that the last game, Sprigate vs. Darth? I don't know. Don't know. It's 21, right? Ooh, oh, with a pretty crushing attack coming in, and that will be it. Sorry for the spotty play-by-play on that. This is getting difficult to keep up, okay? Life is hard. Oh yeah, that was indeed the last game. Okay, Sergey versus Skal in the semifinals, I wouldn't mind catching. 24, hey? Okay. Poor dogs. I know the feeling, buddy. Alright, I'll try and catch this one a bit better. They both have pretty good spawns. O had a bit of an advantage just because Dogs is against the wall, and O has more room to expand in, but it's pretty close. It's indeed pretty close. They're kind of like middle distance apart. This could turn into any kind of game. Narrow attack lanes though, for sure. Only like 2 routes. Yeah, we're already seeing O's small spawn advantage come into play. Dogs doesn't really have as easy expansion routes or as close right away. So I think that's mainly why O came ahead there. Maybe it was just a bit better expanding too. Oh, with a quite a substantial advantage there, countering Dog's attack pretty perfectly. God, I'm fucking losing focus here, sorry. Friends, O needs to... O just keeping the pressure up. Dog's going to be forced to respond to this or lose a lot of land. Dog's response is coming in. It's on time. Probably could have been a little earlier would have been good. He would have got a couple extra land out of it. But in the end, Dogs did manage to more or less even up the land advantage. O still had a bit of an army advantage though. Gonna be looking to press that most likely. Put an attack in. Quite a substantial attack coming in. O can't even really stop this. Well, he can now, but he's kind of too late. O ended up with quite a bit of land advantage at the round end. It was probably just like 5 or 6, but just that little bit of army advantage is pretty big. Dogs with a pretty decently timed attack coming in here, but it looks like O's will be able to cut it off, but he's a little late there. Dogs, it's too late. Dogs has seen everything. And the Dogs ended that at a pretty substantial land advantage, actually pushing back O quite a bit. O at just 10 army advantage, which is down quite a lot. And with Dogs having perfect knowledge of general location, this actually puts O suddenly on the back foot. Before now he was definitely winning, but now not so much. And Dogs again with aggression, with the massive land advantage at the end of the round, putting O going from 10 ahead to 5 behind. And Dogs just keeping up a stream of pressure at his general now, gonna force O to constantly respond to it. Although, Dogs might have overplayed his hand a little here. O's gonna take back some land, it looks like, but Dogs is smartly expanding, eking out his land advantage, or trying to hold on to it. O managing to close the land advantage gap a little bit there and take back like 3 army advantage from Dogs. Just barely. A pretty tight game. Really back and forth right now. I'm just gonna make sure I'm not screwing up anything. Okay. Also, I presume you pronounce Sergey's name as Sergey. I don't know. Very interesting game though. Land is almost even. O with a massive whopper of an attack coming in. I think Dogs, I don't know if he can defend this. It's gonna be really close, really close. And he cannot. Very nice played by both players. It was very tight in the end, very back and forth. Dogs O ahead in the start. Dogs managed to pull back to advantage, but in the end, that one attack by O was just too much. How's it surge? Oh wait. Wait, the U U is slightly like an A, so I'm so confused. I'm just gonna keep calling you Sergey. I'm sorry. I guess Skal and Sergey must be having a long game. Wait, but Sergey's in here. the fuck? I used to work at NMAX, man. How do they know? Go away, creepy ass ads. Sorry, Sergey, it's now changed. I'll be right back. Looks like I got here just in time. Sergey versus Skal, which I'm definitely not saying either of their names right. It's like, I don't care though. It works for now. Skal looks like he has a bit of a spawn advantage, or disadvantage going on here. Sergey with a pretty nice spawn. Skal's options a little more limited. Indeed, Sergey manages to come ahead to the end of first round. Sergey with a nice little city right beside him too. This is always convenient. Skal's pretty close to one though. Crashing at the beginning. Both players expanding quite nicely. Sergey though managing to push his lead a little bit. Everything's working here, right? Okay, good. Skal going for a pretty big attack here. Pretty well timed too. Almost perfectly timed. Maybe actually a bit late, but pretty decent. Actually that ended up pretty well as good as it could have for Skal. Very nicely timed attack. Wisely expanding as quick as you can. Skal with some more big attacks. Sergey opting to take his city. Skal looks to be in trouble here. Sergey's city seems pretty comfortable. Sergey almost having the same amount of army plus the city. That's very dire for Skal. Skal opting to take his own city, but now he's almost 40 army behind. Sergey, nice move, taking the city. We've seen what Sergey likes to do to cities, and it's not very nice. But we see more of the same in this game, I suspect so. Excuse me. Skal trying to be a little cheeky there and get around Sergey's army, unsuccessfully however. Ooh, Skal had enough. He sensed the defeat. Yeah, I don't really blame him. There wasn't a very easy way out of that situation. Erica versus O. Let's see. Erica seems to be winning, not by a very wide margin though. Still feels like anyone's game. In fact, I'd say O actually has a positional advantage, being his army being way closer to Erica, but Erica definitely obviously has the army and land advantage. I'm gonna watch this one. I don't know. Not for any particular reason. Very nice spawn by Scal this time in the reversal. It kind of deserves it after last game. Sergey doesn't have a horrible spawn himself though. Scal being pretty aggressive off the break. Very early aggression. Second attack into him. Nicely done. Expanding, but Scal 6 ahead at the second round. Pretty substantial. This time Sergey's going in for an early attack. Ooh. Sergey loves these little cheeky attacks. He's good at them too. Just does everything he can to bypass the opponent's army, seems to be his playstyle. But in the end, it doesn't really work out for him. Scal managing to widen his advantage. Scal defending the attack probably much more quickly than Sergey would have liked. Scal seems pretty good at this defensive playstyle. But Sergey is one cheeky player, delaying Scal quite a bit there. In the end though, it just doesn't end up being enough. Scal taking back most of the land that was lost to Sergey's cheeky attack, widening his advantage even more. English is so difficult, guys. Scal just being relentless, being really relentless. Definitely see how he managed to best Sprague it. He's a very good player who I have no idea existed before like an hour ago. So props to him. Sergey's doing his best to do his cheeky strategy, but actually, I was gonna say in the end it didn't accomplish much. Though Scal did manage to push it back and take his general, in Sergey's defense there, he did actually manage to push back the army advantage in that round. Okay, this game looks like it could be promising with both players having really good spawns. Very even playing field right now. The one advantage that might become relevant here is Sergey seems to have more accessible cities. Unclear how this is going to play out because they're fairly close together, but with narrow attack routes and a lot of room to expand, which the narrow attack routes and room to expand usually favor more late game games. Sergey's playstyle reminds me a lot of Donald Trump's, like his just relentless aggression where he relies a lot on jukes. It's a really fun playstyle. It's going to be hard to pull off on this map though with the narrow attack pass. Scal out-Sergeying Sergey, I must say. See how Erica versus O is doing. Erica with a really big advantage, it looks like right now. And it's not surprising. Look at this spawn by O. Oh, how unfortunate, man. Wisely taking a city there. Like, that really sucks for him, though. He's at such a disadvantage. Let's see. doing everything he can to worm his way back into this game, but looks like a very, very difficult task at this point. Doesn't even really have the means to like take that city back. Because I'm kind of expecting a forfeit here, because there's just nothing to be done by him. There's absolutely nothing. There's no way he can get to Erica's general. Yeah. Yeah. GG. That was really unfortunate for O. There's very little coming back from a spawn like that. Ooh. Okay, so Red Circle beat Erica. And so now it should be Erica versus Spraggot is the only game going on in 23, hey? I believe. They better not have started already. Or wait. Is it Erica versus Red Circle? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Someone gonna play soon. 22 and 23, that should be the only game going on. Oh, wait, 17? Are they playing in 17? No, I'm in 17 too, though. Okay, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Should be in all the right lobbies, so 22, 23. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait for that. Yeah. There's the update. Okay, so Erica beat Red Circle. He's gonna play versus Spraggot. Erica versus Spraggot should be a good matchup. All these should be. It's gonna be cool if Scal wins this tournament. We're gonna have to learn how he likes his name pronounced if he does. That's the real prize winners get, is all pronounce their name correctly. I think it's a pretty good prize if you ask me. Goes. Spraggot versus Erica. Look at these spawns. They're glorious. They're so like trapped in, like they're not like that far apart, but the attack pass is so narrow, and they have lots of room to expand. This is very, very, very likely going to be a city game, in my opinion, and that should favor Spraggett with having two really close cities, as well as that one down there, where Eriker only has one really easily accessible one. Spraggett managed to come out a little on top of that attack, unfortunately for Eriker. Oh, wait, Eriker still managed to out-expand him though? Maybe that's why Spraggett came out on top of it. I thought Spraggett was going to win on land of that round. Shows what I know. Spraggett with quite the aggression, but Eriker ready to match it. Spraggett managing to push back Eriker's advantage just a teeny tiny bit though. And Spraggett with the early city. How will Eriker respond to this? Eriker going for land first. Just cleaning up some land by his homeland. Shoring up his front. I think wisely too, like, Eriker ended up getting quite a bit of army for just taking that land, and then takes the city, and then I was about to say comfortably ahead of Spraggett, but Spraggett took his second city, which is why it looked like that. And now is where Eriker could face some troubles, because he doesn't have another easy city to take, and Spraggett has two cities just ticking down. Eriker is forced into a very offensive move here one way or another, if he wants to stay competitive. And Spraggett with the third city. Oh, this is not looking good for Eriker at this point. Eriker needs a way to respond to this. I don't know if it's rapidly, seemingly becoming impossible though. Does have quite an impressive force coming at Spraggett though. Will Spraggett be able to defend this? I think so, but it's close. It was very close, and Eriker did get knowledge of his general there. Did take quite a bit of land advantage before the round end. But Spraggett's now had an army with 2 extra cities sticking down. That's not great. And the Spraggett, he's known for being very defensive when he has advantage, like we've seen in previous games. He's probably doing everything he can not to give him any opening. Just make sure he holds on to his advantage. Spraggett's probably going to be pretty reluctant to remove his general stack any more than necessary. Doesn't even use his general stack to defend it. Still defends it comfortably. Would not be surprised to see a forfeit come from Eriker fairly soon. Although he's not going to give up that easy. Probably going to try a couple last desperate attacks. Eriker saw his general stack after Spraggett defended it, so it's probably rather demotivating. Yeah, this Spraggett nearly has as many troops on his general as Eriker has at this point, so. Eriker though, not giving up, refuses, fight until the bitter end, rallying all his troops, going in for another attack. Spraggett just like, you want to go past? Go ahead. Unfortunate. Well played by both of them. So many spectators. Oh god. Don't know if like this should be a thing, but whatever. Probably just me being greedy because I want more views on my Twitch stream. Okay. Ooh. Eriker has got to be cursing his spawn a bit. Sprayget with a pretty big spawn advantage, unless you count cities. Look at all these juicy cities, but Eriker's gonna run like head on into Sprayget up here because it's the only way he has to go, and Sprayget's gonna probably pretty easily out expand him due to spawn advantage. This really is unfortunate for Eriker. This is gonna be really hard for him to play out of, I think. I'm gonna be really impressed if he manages it somehow. Poor Eriker. Poor Eriker. There's nothing he can do about it, man. Sprayget just with a massive land advantage. Like, what can you do? What can you do? Yes, that's one idea. Just take a city. Sprayget responding as with a city of his own. Very reasonable response. I think Sprayget might realize he can just hold him like right here on this line on the right side. Is he gonna take a second city? Come on, Eriker, do it for me. Yes, yes, yes. That's what I like to see. If Eriker somehow manages to win this just by taking lots of cities, I'm going to be very happy. But this is going to be difficult for him. Just brutal hammer coming at him. Oh, but actually manages to defend it, except for the split. If he had kept the 24, that sneaky split by Sprayget costing Eriker so much. If Eriker had managed to defend that successfully, he'd be in so much better shape. Sprayget held on to his cities for so long. Now he has this 100 come to slam into him. That's Eriker just does not have an answer to, honestly. Yeah, that's unfortunate for Eriker. Very unfortunate indeed. I think that's it, right? So it's gonna be Sergey best. I think this will be a best of 5. I believe so. Did they already fucking start or something? Or... Wait. I'm in the right fucking one, right? Don't see that. Surprising. These local ads are weird. Don't know how I feel about them. Boo! That's cool. See how cool his stream is. His name's just generals.io.
see this next game. Where are they?
I hope he has delay on it though.
Let's see. Alright, let's see this next game. Spectating in their own room. Let's see. Yeah, we still need to do best out of 5. Alright. 3-minute delay. Okay, let's see how we do that. This is literally the first time I'm streaming. Settings, broadcast settings. Gracias. Settings. Middle right delay from here. I'm still not finding it. See our Twitch. Google to the rescue. Relaunch stream after. Damn.
I should just stream his stream. Streamception. Yeah, that split hurt.
Oh, I see. It's in the dashboard.
Alright, Sergey versus Spriget. General Hitler.
Red circle. Oh, what's up, Puppy? Can we friend request? Greedy, add friend. Cool.
I was watching his stream and he was watching my stream.
Also, how in the heck do I save videos on Twitch? Do they just save local or can I push them somewhere?
I don't know. Okay. So Spriget versus Sergey. Sergey with that kind of uncomfortable corner spawn. Spriget with a really good spawn actually. So much room to work with. Spriget unquestionably has the spawn advantage here. General's gods just like Spriget. Just how it rolls. Definitely not unwinnable for Sergey. Despite that. What an attack coming in from Sergey. Pretty well timed too, but Spriget coming to match it. Sergey though, kind of not attacking into Spriget, which actually kind of like ended up making Sprague hesitate a bit and putting Sergey a little head around, and Sprague opting to take the very, very early city. Quite a risky move, I think. Might have some trouble defending this attack from Sergey. The 63 coming in. We'll see. Ooh, if Sergey just went down to his general, I think that would have been game right there. Oh no! Sergey taking Sprague's general, and will he be able to hold on to it? We all know how Sergey loves playing a hold on to the general game, or hold on to the city game. I think Sprague might have made a mistake here with that early city. Yeah, and the forfeit. A rare mistake coming in from Sprague. You won't see that very often. He just wanted that city. I appreciate that, Sprague. Maybe a little aggressive though on it. Okay, they both have pretty good spawns this time. Man, I'm surprised Sprague lost that game, if I'm being honest. Sergey with a very small advantage of 1 at the first round end. Look at how many cities Sergey has around him. If this turns into a city game, which it might, could get ugly for Sprague. This is a best of 5, I believe, not a best of 3, so even if Sprague loses this, he'll have a small chance to come back. He'll have to win 3 in a row. Decent attack by Sprague, but Sergey manages to hold it and just expand elsewhere, coming out even more ahead at the second round end. Just a very small advantage still, but it's big. Sergey playing really well. Sprague with a pretty nice timed attack coming in here though. It looks like Sergey was thinking about citying, but then saw the attack coming in and then hesitated. And that actually ended up putting Sprague back in the lead. Once again, only by 1 army. Very, very tight game so far. Sprague with a very, very meaty attack coming in. One that Sergey doesn't seem to quite be able to hold, but Sergey doing really good to expand elsewhere, holding him dead even and land that round. Sprague just holding on to his 1 army advantage. Very, very tense game right now. Neither player's making any mistakes. Sprague just cleaning house at the top there. Sprague's attack actually coming in a little late, I think. Just a little bit. Sergey managing to eke out a small lead. Ooh, there's the city. Will Sergey be able to punish it like he did last time, or will he opt to get a city of his own? He opts to get a city of his own. Now, we have to see what comes next. If Sergey opts to get that city that's below his general, he might not realize that Sprague can actually see it if he captures it, which could lead to Sprague immediately responding by pressuring it, which would be interesting. Time it's Sprague on a bit of the offensive, but Sergey pushes the offensive back, and he captures quite a bit of land. Still such a tight game. Just a 5 army advantage by Sergey. Sprague gonna just try another attack. Yep, both players seem to be moving almost identically. Just crashing into each other at the usual spot. Expanding as much as possible as one does. Ooh, Sergey, oh, he's taking that top city. Now this is where it could get really problematic for Sprague. He's at a city disadvantage, and he doesn't really have a city he can take safely. So, what does he do? This attack is going to make some inroads, but it's just going to get shut down. Not before Sprague at least holds the city for a little bit. Oh, Sprague, you're in trouble, buddy. Will this be the first time Sprague gets knocked out of the Season 1 vs 1 tournament ever? Well, it won't be this round, but Could be the one after. Sprayga just keeping up the desperate attacks, but it's really not accomplishing that much. And that city advantage by Sergey is just ticking away. Sprayga needs to accomplish something. Sergey just holds the line, he's gonna end up ahead. Quite a meaty attack coming in though. But Sergey's obviously able to respond to it. Oh, Sergey making an error, letting Sprayga's army pass. That's all she wrote, over in an instant from Sergey with a pretty sizable advantage to Sprayga just eking out the victory from nowhere. Good game. Never give up, never surrender. And we're back to 1-1 in this best of 5 series. The winner will be advancing to the finals of the tournament. The finals of the loser bracket currently. Sergey, at first glance, actually fairly even spawns, and both players have access to a lot of cities. If this turns into a city game, it could get pretty crazy pretty quickly. It might. They're pretty far from each other. It's a fairly open map. Sprayga's been seeming to favor those really early cities, like we saw in the first game. That seemed a little suicidally early, but Sprayga definitely seems to like it in the city advantage. Sprayga coming out ahead right now. I had a pretty decent amount for second round actually, like 9 advantage. Trying to clean house. Sergey changing his mind in direction he wants to go in, because he doesn't want to run into the force and accomplish nothing. Ooh, that's dangerous for Sprayga. Sergey seeing his general. Sergey smelling blood is just coming for him, I think. Oh, maybe not. If he was coming for him, he probably would have followed his own lines of 2s, right? Sergey actually seems to be opting to just try and take some land back. Sprayga just following behind him though, cleaning up as Sergey, what Sergey steals. I think that was really smart of Sergey not to go for the general kill right away and instead opt to get land instead. He probably knew there. Oh, this is it was close, so close. Oh, Sprayga came ahead, so far ahead in land there at the end of that round. Sergey was focusing so much on his attacks. Sprayga managed to get a lot of land while he was doing that. By just being confident the troops on his general would be enough to protect it. Sergey might be getting a little desperate now. Trying another all-in attack. Ooh, tried to be sneaky. Sneaky little Sergey. Seen this a lot from him this tournament. Pretty decent attack, making some land back, but at this point, Sprayga has almost a 50 army advantage. That's going to be really difficult to surmount. Really, really difficult. Sprayga doing this cheeky little attack up here, and it ends up being really important because he sees his general. I don't think he saw it before. Maybe I might have missed it. Now Sprayga with twice the army advantage. He's just gonna play the game he loves to play, which is super defensive, super expandy. And as I say that, he takes his entire army general stack and starts moving it. I guess maybe he just feels confident right now. And that's game. Sprayga up 2-1. Almost looked like Sergey might be able to get it for a bit. Ooh, Dogs is here. My competition. That's cool. Maybe I won't have to stream all the tournaments. Sprague left. Alright, Sprague wins this, he secures a spot in finals. So, I think he'll have to win 2 best of 7s to win, is the way it works. Let's see, actually. Doesn't really specifically say, but the way there's 2, I'm pretty sure, yeah, the guy who comes up from loser's bracket has to win twice. Alright. Sprague has a small spawn advantage for sure, because Sergey's right against the wall. Fortunate for Sergey, but last time I said Sprague had a spawn advantage, Sergey pulled it out, so I thought he had a pretty big spawn advantage that game. Very nice start by Sergey. He actually like did that almost perfectly, having the 3 go that way. It's cute. Sergey going pretty expandy. Sprague gets being a little more offensive. Sergey skillfully blocking off his offensive. Now is kind of where spawn advantage comes in though. Although Sergey actually kept it dead even, which surprises me. I thought Sprague was going to come out ahead there. Because Sprague has all this room right beside his general he can expand off now, and Sergey doesn't have any room off his general he can expand off anymore. He has to go like all the way over to the right and stuff. Kind of forced to be more offensive with more tighter timed attacks. But I say that, and yet he's still winning in land by 1. But Sprague hasn't exploited this land just down left of his general yet. Untapped resource. Sprague being quite defensive. Sergey looks like he's ready to match it blow for blow though. Sergey coming out ahead. Very well played, Sergey. Damn it, I might have to start pronouncing his name right. Don't want it. Sergey very nicely shutting down all of Sprague's attacks and usually taking a little extra for it too. Very well done. Sprague seems determined to keep up his offense though. Let's see what he can get out of this attack. Ooh, Sergey's not even trying to stop it, instead going straight for Sprague's general. This could be deadly! And it is. It's now 2-2 in the best of 5 series. Well played, Sergey. Just waited for the right time and struck. Okay, Sergey with the spawn advantage this time. It's just slight though. It's not that bad. Sprague has a pretty decent spawn himself. so many cities, especially around Sergei. They're not that far from each other, and the attack paths are a little more open this time, though. So we'll see exactly what happens. I guess they're not that open. Just the people at that square and that square. No, I'm betting that Spraggett already has a pretty good idea where his general is, just because he pushed off his generals so early. He won't know if it's like up or down in the middle, but he knows it's really close to his line there. Spraggett with a small amount of hesitation, opting to attack down this line, and oh my, oh my, oh my! Oh, that was close. Sergei just getting enough to defend it at the very last moment. Sergei ahead by 10 army though, that's pretty substantial. But Spraggett having exact knowledge of where his general is, which is also very substantial. Well, both players having their own advantages. Spraggett opting for a pretty aggressive attack. Let's see how he plays this. Seems to be opting more to gather land than straight up attack. Sergei though, seems pretty adept at defending it, but though Sergei managed to defend it, Spraggett managed to take back quite a bit of land advantage there. Actually putting himself in the lead. Very well played. Sergei with a pretty substantial stack on his general. Gonna try and push back some land here. Successfully, it does seem. But Spraggett still manages to come ahead by 3 through Spraggett magic, just by expanding everywhere else and ignoring the push. But Sergei does have a lot of inroads into Spraggett's land now. It feels like he can attack him from a lot of different places, which is a quite dangerous position to be in. Could allow Sergei to get back some of his advantage. Spraggett doing a nice little push here. Sergei doing a good job of expanding elsewhere though to minimize the effect. Very tight game. Swung back and forth a couple times now. It's staying really even land with Spraggett just maintaining about a 10 army advantage constantly that he's had for a while. They seem pretty even in their pushes right now. Right now though, it looks like Sergei's playing a more expand strategy while Spraggett's gearing up a little more to attack. Ooh. Sergei's kind of forced to turn around there to defend his general while Spraggett's taking his land, which ends up not mattering. Sergei still comes ahead a little due to all his expanding earlier in the round. Sergei going for a little cheekiness. Spraggett's gonna have to respond to this. Ooh, this is the game Sergei loves to play. He's playing it quite well. Yeah, indeed, that was really well played by Sergei. That was like a 20 army swing because Spraggett was trying to dance around to catch his army stack for so long. That was Sergeiing perfectly. Ooh, but Spraggett in the end just managed to take a big stack. Find the opening where Sergei was just a little short on his general. Well played both. GG. GG. Okay, so now it's 26. IHS. I'm not playing. Why should I not be spectating? Alright, height. Scal's a complete newcomer to me anyways. I'm sure he's been playing for a while. Why does it say not secure? Whatever. God, the spectators. Oh, get in some viewers. Alright. Scal vs Frigate. Fairly even spawns. It's actually pretty tough to tell who has advantage in those spawns. Spragate probably does have more access to cities, but they're pretty close together. Might be hard for either player to city in this game, especially since they already found each other. Can be interesting to see how they play this. Spragate with a decent advantage at the start. Well, actually not really, just a one army. Ooh, dangerous. Almost finding Spragate's general. That's interesting that Spragate opts to expand backwards instead of attack the units that are right next to his general. Some high level play. Most people would just attack right away. Spragate comes quite ahead now though. With the 6 army advantage. Excuse me. Spragate seems to just be waiting to counterattack Scal. Just SCA? I don't know. I should probably call him SCA. Yeah. Both players being really patient with their general stacks. Spragate makes the first move. Does a split though. Ooh, that looks bad for Scal. Spragate taking a lot of army back before the round end. Or a lot of land back before the round end, which translates into a lot of army of course. Spragate just expanding all over the place. He seems to like to be really defensive with his general stack. Seems like his game plan is just to counter Scal's attacks rather than attack with his stack. Ooh, Spragate's a little slow there though. Oh, Scal surrendered? I guess he was behind. I'm kind of surprised it was such an early surrender though. Jesus Christ. That's a few spectators, guys. Probably should come up with some system for the next tournament where can't be random spectators to ensure fairness, but whatever for now. Okay, so they both have really good spawns. No real disadvantage except for how the ridiculous amount of cities by Skal here. And it really could turn into a city game pretty easily because they're quite far from each other this game. But Spraygate has some of his own cities to take, at least these two down here and stuff. If it turns into a really late city game though, Spraygate could be in trouble just because of the massive access to cities afforded to Skal. Dead even, go. But after second round, I meant it was dead even after first round. After second round, Spraygate comes ahead by 5. I think both players might be starting to get the vibe. They're pretty far apart now. But Skal's playing super aggressive regardless. Spraygate's struggling to catch up to him, and then Skal managed to bring the game back to dead even. An army count. Spraygate doing his little splitty splits. Skal just ignoring the one split and opting to full on attack once again. Spraygate may be blundering a little, letting him see his general there. Skal ahead by 1 too. I really liked how Skal just ignored the one split and just charged into the other one. It's a good way to counter that sort of play instead of trying to chase the split that gets ahead of you around. Huh, very interesting how they both just stop there and expand. It's pretty high level play. Because they know like it'd be a waste to do the move of crashing the army into each other. It's like one extra tick that they could be using to get an extra expansion. Spraygate seems to be coming ahead, but at the very end of the round, Skal coming in with some inroads. But Spraygate doing good with just small amounts to also take Skal's land back at the same time. Ooh, ballsy city by Spraygate. I like it, I like it. Skal try to respond with aggression or his own city? It looks like his own city. Indeed it is. Oh, and Mike, it's starting to come to the point where the advantage of Skal having more cities available might come into play. Indeed, Spraygate just takes a second city. I wonder if Spraygate's gonna take like this bottom middle city. If it comes to that. Skal's delaying taking his second city. I expect to see him take it now, but maybe he'll just opt to attack instead, and he does indeed, and quite a scary attack coming in. At 120, I think Spraygate just has enough to stop it though, but it's close. Skal tried to be a little cheeky. Doesn't quite work for him. Will he take his second city now that that attack failed? Is the question. Looks like Spraygate might be geared up to take that city? No. Okay. Skal takes his second city. Spraygate finally, attack of his own coming in. Scouting for information, finds both the cities. Ooh. Skal, this is a clever little play, ignoring the attack, going straight for... Oh, so close. My god, that was very, very close. Oh, Skal just racing back again to try again. Another attack at the general. Will Spraygate manage to defend it? I think just barely. Oof, oof. Oh, you see the forfeit coming from Skal, indeed. Skal opted for the very offensive play, just trying to end it instead of the economical play. Comes very close to paying off for him, but not quite. I believe that's 2-0 Spraygate in the first best of 7. Don't advertise your Twitch here, Docs. Damn it. Yeah, whatever. Guess it doesn't really matter. Completely even split. Once again they have pretty even, very good spawns, both of them. Like to see that. Once again, Scal has the city advantage with Sprigate having no really close cities to his general. Only this one here. Although if he ventures to the bottom right, there's like 6 of them, but they're a little far from the action, probably, for him to be able to put those into play. Probably the only viable one is this bottom middle one for him to take. If he does take all 6 of those, I will be very, very happy. Just crashing into each other. Expanding desperately, Sprigate coming ahead just barely at the 3rd round end. What is Scal up to? Just another strong attack coming in. Very, very well timed by Scal. But Sprigate manages to push his advantage a little further just by expanding elsewhere. Though Scal made some inroads with that attack. Is the city coming in? Nope. Another attack by Scal. It's very similar timed, another split attack. Once again, very well timed attack by Scal, actually managing to bring the game back to dead even. Scal seems to smell blood with these attacks. He's just keeping them constant. That time though, it doesn't work out quite as well for him. Sprigate managing to eke out a 3 army advantage from when it was dead even the round before. Not bad, not bad. Scal just keeping the pressure constant, but Sprigate does not seem to mind. Ready and willing to defend it, and this time I think Sprigate might actually come out ahead in that exchange, and he does indeed with 11 army advantage now. It's not gigantic, but it's nothing to sneeze at. Scal just keeping the pressure relentless, mixing it up a little bit this time, but Sprigate smells the juke, perfectly countering it and pushing his advantage even just a little further. Sprigate seems more than content to just wait for Scal's attacks to come in every round. Well, as I say that, he does something else, but before that he was, okay? Ooh. Yeah, Sprigate just pushing his advantage little by little every round. For those who don't know, a round's every 25 turns when the units spawn. Scals has been pretty consistently just attacking the same corner over and over again. Hasn't really varied it up at all. And it does not seem to be working for him. It seems like Sprigate just has that covered. Is like just prepared for it over and over again. Perfectly countering it. Is Scal gonna mix it up this round? We shall see. Doesn't look like it. Sprigate may be being a little overly defensive there, keeping those troops on his general. In fact, if Scal vision of his general. But Sprigate does have a pretty decent army lead, so maybe just felt confident enough to do that. Is he like just trying to bait this attack by Scal, or it's hard to tell? Maybe that was his purpose, just showing a small amount there, making Scal think he might have a chance of beating his general to make the attack predictable. It's hard to know. But in any case, it works out perfectly. Sprague perfectly counters attack right before round end, taking back a bit of land and pushing. Sprague has just been pushing his advantage little by little, just like 1 or 2 land every round. That's all he needs. Just staying consistently just a bit ahead of land, which has led to like 40 army advantage. This game's just been a slugfest. Scal just constantly attacking. That attack fell a little flat, but it was really well timed, so Sprague didn't manage to get any land advantage from it. Sprague opting to just attack into him really early. I think Sprague was just kind of fishing for information, hoping he could figure out where his general was. Scal finally opting to attack down a different route this time. Ooh, Sprague almost found his general. If only it went left. This is a very hectic game though. Even though Sprague gets pretty comfortably in the lead, he definitely is not out of the woods. One mistake, as we've seen, could cost him this game in a heartbeat. What an attack coming at him too, this 100. Well, Sprague headed off with a 20, he needs to. Yeah, he barely needed to. Ooh, Sprague finally gets vision on his general too. That probably has Scal reeling a bit. And Sprague quickly with an attack coming at it that it doesn't look like Scal can stop. Good game. Don't know if we have enough spectators, dude. Not more than fucking 5 hours. Okay. So, looks to me like Scal has a small spawn advantage here. Sprague being a little hemmed in on his options. And the gods of cities seem to love Scal. He always spawns by so many cities. And he already saw Sprague's general. Just got a little peek at it there. It's unfortunate for Sprague. They're dead even at end of second round. I'm plugging my headset back in for a second. Don't want to do that. Scal's such an offensive player, and he played that so perfectly there, baiting Sprague's army across, and like forcing him to chase him to take a lot of extra land. And Sprague takes, in my mind, a very risky city when he's so down. Maybe he just felt like that's what he had to do to catch up, had to take the risk. Scal, instead of being very offensive, decides to take his own city instead of trying to punish Sprague necessarily. But Scal is very comfortably ahead in land right now, and he's also sitting right next to another city he could take and still be almost ahead in army. This one is looking very dire for Sprague. Scal not opting to take the next city though. Perhaps wisely, if he had that attack from Sprague, actually very likely would have been deadly. Scal doing really good at just expanding all over the map constantly this game. Keeping the pressure up. Ooh, I think that's it. Yeah, well played by both. That was a tough one for Spraggett. I think it's 3-1 for Spraggett right now, but he has to win 2 best of 7s. Alright. Why do the gods of City love Skal so much? Spraggett probably with a really, really minor spawn advantage, but yeah, Skal with he always just has the city advantage for whatever reason. Spraggett only really having that one city below him. Well, these two at the bottom left is kind of viable. But Skal definitely has better cities available. You want cities that are like more directly root of like between you and your opponent, so you can attack with them quicker, more efficiently. Skal, that looks kind of dangerous for Spraggett, but Spraggett really minimizing it with good expanding. Skal ahead by 2 army. These players very tight with their timing attacks. Spraggett with a very, very meaty attack coming in very early, but Skal ready to stop it. Spraggett tries to get around him, but not quite successfully. And at the end of the 4th round, Skal is 9 army ahead. Very, very decent indeed. Spraggett just trying to clean up in army count here, or in land count. Not quite successfully though. I believe he was a bit ahead at the end of that round, but not enough to push back Skal's advantage completely. Still a really good push though, evening it out a bit. And there's the first city of the game. Ooh, I think Skal just wants to punish this and punish that he could. Spraggett doesn't really have the numbers to stop this 70. Ooh, this could be it, this could be it, yeah. Very nice time to attack by Skal to punish that city. Interesting spawns, because Skal has a lot of room to work with, but he's like in that corner there. So I think in theory he can expand as efficiently as Spraggett, giving Spraggett the small spawn advantage. And for once the gods of cities are on Spraggett's side, but I doubt he'll be able to use them with how close their spawns are. It's probably not going to be a city game. What a nice little expand by Spraggett, saving the 2 to go up in there. Such a perfect start. Spraggett's really good at that. Ooh, Spraggett with some indecision, could be costly. In the end, it is not. Spraggett actually comes out ahead, although getting a little lucky, Skal didn't find his general there. It was very, very close. Ooh, I like this though. This is no indecision. This is Spraggett coming for blood. Finds his general too. A little bit of dancing going on there. Spraggett almost manages it. I like that play. Spraggett perfectly cutting off that mini attack coming from the bottom. And it looks like he's gonna send another attack towards Skal, just keeping him on his toes. Not directly though, he's gonna go for a little dance to do angle. And God, was that perfect. Luring Skal's army back and forth to maximize the amount of land Sprigget could take, putting him in quite a decent advantage of 19 army units right now. Skal, though, is not to be outdone, gonna do his own little sneaky attack, finding his general for the first time, dancing just like Sprigget was. But it doesn't really end up quite as good for Skal. Sprigget is responding to it a bit better, capturing units back at the same time he's chasing them around. The main difference there was Sprigget still out of force by his general. He could defend if necessary. When Sprigget attacked Skal, Skal was moving around with the force to defend the general, kind of like Sprigget is now actually, so he could force him back and forth. And indeed, Skal kind of uses the same technique there to push Sprigget back a bit and gain some land. Sprigget looking for a little mini attack on his general that could actually prove to be deadly. Skal doesn't seem to have the defense. Yep, it's a little mini attack. Alright, that's the first best of 7, I believe. So now we start a fresh best of 7. Is it room 27 though? Yeah, who cares? They're figuring it out. God. I don't know how I feel about there being 2 tournaments in one day. I don't know if I'm up to cast another fucking tournament right now. Ooh. This looks pretty bad for Sprigget. Skal has such a nice spawn. Sprigget has a very spawn. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's definitely suboptimal. Will give Sprigget a bit of a disadvantage in the early stages of the game. On the other hand, Spriggy has some cities to work with. Ooh. Nice little exchange. Very close to dead even. Skal managing to eke out the advantage was the one tile he took from Sprigget for pushing off his general at the end there. Giving him a 2 army advantage. Skal playing a lot like Sprigget usually does now, waiting for the attack. Well, perhaps not waiting long enough. Sprigget managing to even the game up completely. Skal with this nice little infestation though next to Sprigget. Sprigget's probably not too happy about that. Pretty decent attack coming in here. Little dancy doodle. Skal though, eking out the 3 army advantage. Skal now has vision of Sprigget's general, but Sprigget could end it all right here. Oh, Skal surrenders. Well played, Sprigget. Sprigget rising from the ashes of the loser bracket, winning the first best of 7, winning the first round in the second best of 7. Will the legend continue? Sprigget's undefeated 1 vs 1 tournament streak. Will Skal manages to come back and end it all right here. Ooh, Sprigget being blessed by the gods of city for once. Look at all those juicy cities, and this is a fucking city game, I think. It's pretty wide open, but they're so far from each other in a pretty sizable map. Skal's not hurting for cities that much, but Sprigget has 4, like, right beside his general. They're just begging him to take them. Both players doing a fairly aggressive early push. Sprigget opting to stop his push instead of trade and continue down his line too. Perhaps he didn't want him getting general information so early. It's happened a couple times. Skal's got that. Sprigget's probably a bit sick of it. Ooh, Skal being really aggressive. Yeah, I guess Sprigget's just moving to defend. Good defense. Sprigget eking out advantage because he's spending more time expanding. Skal is going for these really, really big all-in attacks. That kind of seems to be his style. He really likes these really big all-in attacks, but he does go for that early city. I assume Sprigget's gonna respond with a city of his own. Huh. I wonder if Skal did that on purpose. He just moved 3 units into that city. I have a feeling that was an accident. Oh, but maybe he's like, yeah, life gives you lemons, make cities. I wonder if he decided to take that city just because he moved 3 units into it by accident. Who knows? City game each. Skal with advantage, managing to take more land there than Sprigget. Kind of surprisingly. But Sprigget with the 3rd city could be huge. Could be a death sentence. This attack is quite big. Does look like Sprigget has enough to stop it though. But it's look at that splitting. Just choked a bit, but Sprigget, that was really cool. Skal splitting his army, and then Sprigget splitting his army as well perfectly and stopping both the splits with his splits. Such masterful play. Dangerous. Skal being very, very cheeky. Skal with a decent army advantage, small land advantage, but Sprigget with that extra city just ticking away, tick-tock. Skal needs to make something happen because Sprigget almost has army advantage back and is making inroads on land too. What an attack coming in by Skal though. This 250. Sprigget obviously has enough to stop it, but still, it's a decent stack for sure. Yeah, but Sprigget just quickly chases it down, puts an end to that. Takes his 4th city. Fuck yes. Oh, I wonder if Skal realizes how many cities Sprigget has exactly. He might have just saw he took another city and decided to take one in return. But I wonder if he realizes that Sprigget has 1 extra. He might not. 3 to 4 city game. I also wonder if Skal would take those cities at the top right if he knew they were there. I doubt he wants to take that middle city because Sprigget could pressure it too easy. little dangerous, but man, I don't think it's gonna amount to much. Skal just being really annoying. Just taking pressure on Sprague as much as possible. But now the army advantage has ticked in Sprague's favor, and it's gonna keep ticking in his favor with that extra city. Maybe now that Skal has control of this area, he'll want to take that city, the like bottom left middle-ish city. Maybe. Nope. He just wants to keep the pressure on. What an attack, too. Once again, Sprague does have enough to stop this, but it's still quite a lot of units coming in. Sprague is split in twice over, covering all its bases, literally. Sorry. Skal's constant pressure is actually doing really good. Like, the amount of land he has actually is enough to make up for the city disadvantage of Sprague having the extra city, and just a small amount of time he takes Sprague cities for. Every time the round ticks, Skal actually ends up ahead right now, just because of his constant pressure, which is pretty cool. But I don't know how long that's gonna last. Sprague finally going a bit on the offensive, very, very on the offensive. Rarely see this from Sprague. Does he take everything off his general stack and just go for it? Especially when the opponent knows where his general was. And he's doing it again. Sprague had enough of the passive game, going offensive. Showing Skal he's not the only one who can play offensive. My cities. Skal barely having enough there to recap them. There we go. With that burst of offensive, that's put Sprague solidly in the lead. He's actually ahead on land now too. This is gonna be hard for Skal to come back from. Skal's gonna kind of have to rely on Juke to win the game. Sprague, it's been super annoying just taking those cities over and over again. Sprague seemingly feels confident enough to almost abandon defense. I was gonna say completely, but he did end up splitting that 200 instead of going all in. But the split version is not quite enough. Even now this 100 being a little later won't be enough. Oh, and while I wasn't paying attention, I guess Skal took this city at the top right. I guess that answers my question if you take them, if you knew he's there. So, they're even in city count now. But Sprague gets ahead 210 in army count. It's funny, Skal doesn't know that other city is above that one, or he'd probably take that too. Sprague's going for the strat we saw Sergey use over and over again, I believe, which is just take control of the cities. Ooh, and Skal smells blood. He thinks he can make a move here to take the general while Sprague gets distracted, but as we see, that is not quite the case. Sorry. Ugh. Don't know if I'm gonna survive casting an FFA tournament right now. Skal going for blood again, straight for the jugular. This one is actually looking a little more dicey, but I think he's okay. Yeah. Skal finally gives in. Very hard fought. Is Scal giving up? Aw, a little disappointing. Oh, no. He just says, I'm tired. I thought he was giving up for a second because he said good game. Is it 3-1? God. I can figure this out. Can I figure this out? Okay, so the first one was, I believe, 4-1 for Spraggot, right? Which means... Oh god, I think it's 3-0. For fuck me, I don't know, dude. Okay, I'm just gonna focus on casting the game for now. So, Scal is at a disadvantage in spawn for sure. Spraggot with a very strong open spawn. Scal right against the wall with a lot of mountains blocking his exit routes, which hurts. Scal opting for that super early city. I feel like that's something we'd see Spraggot do more often. But no. Oh, this is bad for Scal though. That I think spells defeat. Spraggot just keeps taking that city over and over again. Spraggot even like flag? Oh yeah, he is. Okay, I'm sorry. I just didn't see where he's moving his stuff. Guess he was just grouping really hard to make sure he can take the city, which he does indeed. Scal, I think wisely, instead of trying to defend the city, just tries to push past it in a basically last ditch attempt. I don't know if it was 2 or 3-0. Really unfortunately for Scal, it looks like he has a very disadvantaged spawn again. I hope he can manage to make it work somehow. It's gonna be really tricky for him to get out of this position though. Scal manages to win this round somehow and come back to win the tournament. It will be very, very impressive, is all I'm gonna say. Not an easy task. And we can already see they haven't even made contact yet, but Spraggot's 8 units ahead. Scal already like basically just running out of places to expand. Very nicely timed attack by him though. Making some inroads. Unfortunately doesn't really manage to close the gap much. Spraggot taking a city. This could be Scal's chance for an all-in, but I don't really know if he quite has enough. Will he opt to take a city of his own instead? Yes, indeed he will. The gods of cities have blessed Spraggot though. I don't know what Scal did to the general's gods to piss them off, but yeah, Spraggot with the quick second city too. Scal does not have a city in reach to respond to that. That 45, I guess? And he does not have the units to just kill Spraggot either, unless he jukes him. Oof. This is looking rough for Scal. Very, very rough. will he manage to eke something out? Trying little attacks here, but just does not seem to be enough. He has a small land advantage, which is good. It's at least something for him. He has this little 29 park to the left, which I like. He's just trying to be sneaky and find a road. But Spraggot, I do not think he's gonna like leave his general undefended right now. Ooh, what an attack coming from him though. What an attack. Spraggot's rushing to defend it. Unfortunately for Skal, it does seem like he will manage to get enough. Very good effort though, very good effort. And Skal's actually managing to keep his land advantage so much land advantage that he's actually making up for Spraggot having an extra city. Oh, I said that, but here comes Spraggot pushing right back. Skal just doing everything he can to take as much land as he can. Kind of parking that 58 by that city. I don't think he's thinking about it though. I think he's just hoping he can get more units to attack with. Still not quite enough though, unless Spraggot makes a big blunder here. Skal just desperately trying to find a way. You see him just running around Spraggot's general, but unfortunately at this point, Spraggot is ahead in army with an extra city, with nearly even land count. In fact, it looks like Spraggot's going to come ahead in land. Oh, not quite. It's about even in land, but Spraggot with the 100 army advantage in extra city. Two extra cities, sorry. Of course. Spraggot just compounding his advantage, but, well, perhaps a last-ditch attack is coming in. I believe Spraggot spotted it, though. Ooh, oh, fuck yeah, Skal. Fuck yeah. I did not think he'd manage it. He did it indeed. Came back from an almost impossible situation to bring the final best of 3 to 3-2-1 for Spraggot. Spraggot perhaps being a bit cocky, screwing around taking that 4th city. I don't know. Very well fought by Skal. Never give up, never surrender. Alright. Sorry about that. I'm back. Okay. So, Skal has a small spawn advantage for sure. Actually, maybe not even that small. It's a pretty decent spawn advantage. Just Spraggot doesn't have that much room around his general. Although we've seen time and time again players defying that. For example, last game. Skal doesn't really have any easy access cities though if this turns into a city game, which it very well might. I don't know what he did to the gods of cities. Ooh, this could be deadly for Spraggot though. That might have been too early of a city. I don't know if he'll be able to defend it. I think that's gonna be game. That early city, Spraggot. I like it though. I like it. 3-2-2. What a ballsy city from Spraggot. Cal reading the situation perfectly though. He says lucky, but I don't really think it was that lucky. He just attacked at a good time. Spraggot's spawn, it's okay. He'll be a little hampered because he only has one route out by his general, but he still has a lot of open room around, so it should be okay. I think Skal might have crashed. technical difficulties. I doubt Sprague will take the win like that. Okay, so still 3-2. Scal with the seemingly miraculous comeback on game 4. Interestingly, neither players have very good spawns, and both players have access to quite a few cities. Scal having access to a few more than Spragget. I would say Scal has access to like 5 easy cities. Spragget only has access to 3, really. So he could end up taking these top left ones too, and then it's hard to tell. Scal probably with a bit of better spawn too. But Spragget coming out substantially ahead so far. Ooh, Scal going for the city. Spragget responding in kind. Spragget does not seem to like trying to all in after someone else's cities. Definitely seems to prefer taking his own city and turning it into a city game. I think Scal's gearing up to take another city. Indeed he is. How will Spragget respond? I could guess. Yes, indeed, takes another city. If this turns into a full city race though, Spragget might be a little low on ammunition, the ammunition being cities. Damn, this is a really fast city game. 110 turns and 3 cities each for both of them. Now the question is though, does Scal take the 4th city? Because if he does, Spragget's gonna have to respond with some aggression, or taking those left cities. Ooh, what an attack coming in from Scal. This is 100. Oh, nope. Scal takes the 4th city, indeed. This could be bad for Spragget. I wonder how he's gonna respond. It's also possible Spragget might not even be aware he took the city. Although, with a move like that, I think he was. Takes the 4th city to the left. He sees the other city there too. Ooh, I think Scal's gearing up for a big attack. Yeah. Oh, he's going for city warfare. Spragget sees it coming, goes to reclaim it. Just enough there to do so. And Scal takes the 5th city. Interesting, Spragget's a bit ahead on army count, but Scal's cities are just better positioned. He can group his troops so fast, send out deadly attacks with like no delay. And now Scal has an extra city, it's gonna start ticking away. I suspect Spragget's gonna try and take that other left city. It's hard to tell though. Relentless aggression coming out of Scal. It's really hard for Spragget to deal with, I think. very quick on the draw there. Skal takes Sprague's other city for like 1 tick. Sprague does take the other left city, making them even in cities. Very interesting game all over the map now. Both players pretty much even position. I'd give the slight edge to Skal though, just because of city position. And now this could prove a very big problem for Sprague indeed, as he's going to be forced to defend these cities. And Skal being really sneaky, moving away from those cities right after capping them, putting a giant threat towards Sprague. Sprague just trying to clean up all the land. Skal just captured. Skal ahead by 40 army, but in the end, in this big of scale game, that's not really that much. What a game. So many cities. It's funny, there's just one unclaimed city on the map left, and neither of them have seen it, and it's in the middle of both of them. I doubt they'd take it even if they saw it because of the position. Very nice attack coming in from Skal. I'm pretty sure Sprague has just enough to deal with it though. Does indeed. Skal keeping up the pressure. This game is gonna take a lot of skill from both of them. It's gonna be all over the map. There's just so many different places to push. The map is so open. They have so many avenues of attack. This is the kind of game where boys become men. Sprague doing really good to keep Skal honest, managing to barely eke out the land count. If you notice, the land count's been really close this entire time, neither letting the other one get any kind of like big advantage on them. Skal gearing up for a super attack though, and Sprague doesn't seem to see it coming. Oh, but Skal's forced back to defend his general, and he does now see it. Sprague just doing a little dance. This aggression really benefits Sprague. If you notice, Sprague just jumped ahead in the army counter because he's constantly capping Skal's land and even his cities for a brief moment, which gives him obviously the boost in army count. Ooh, this could be deadly though. Sprague no longer has the units there to defend, but he's also going straight for his general, but Sprague does not go in the right direction. So close! Sprague was two turns away from being able to cap Skal. Oh, what a game. Actually, 1 turn, since you can move twice in 1 turn. Skal with a pretty unfortunate spawn here. Will he manage to miracle his way into victory again? I don't know the score. It's either 3-2 for Sprague or 3-3. That was almost really dangerous for Sprague. Sprague just letting his army pass on by. And that seemed like a really wise move actually. Putting Sprague ahead at 10 army at the second round very early on. And Skal's kind of trapped in the corner there. Unfortunately for him. This is going to be a hard one again for Skal to make it out of, but what an attack coming in. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. I think Sprague has barely denied general vision like 3 times, but I bet you Skal has a very good idea where the general is. He might even know exactly where it is. Ooh, this attack's a big attack coming in again. Spriggan should just be able to stop it. Okay, now Scal definitely saw where his general was. Spriggan maintaining a pretty big army advantage of almost 30. Scal doesn't know exactly where his general is though, and keeping up the pressure, but this is looking pretty dire for Scal. This is going to be a pretty hard one to win out. It's going to take a mistake from Spriggan, I think. Scal though playing his position very well with that little back and forth juke, managing to almost even up the land count before the turn end by forcing Spriggan army back to defend his general and taking land while he does so. And expanding his little cancer patch at the bottom right there. Ah, there we go though. Spriggan now has general knowledge. That makes it much harder for Scal. And Spriggan taking so much land there, being almost like 20 ahead at round end, putting him 50 units ahead. That's pretty massive for so early. Yeah, Spriggan keeping his advantage. Not quite as much there. Scal on the back end. Back foot. This is going to be a near impossible task. But I've said that before, so... Although this one he has a lot less to work with. He doesn't really have a lot of choices in how to play right now. Spriggan doing his thing, being really cautious around his general, just pushing with like what he doesn't think he needs to defend, but yeah. That's game, that's series. Spriggan wins 4-3 or 4-2 or something. It was good games though.